So I'm going to show you briefly how to put a texture on something. This is a demo I did in class last semester. I took a sketch of a backpack like that and put the shading on it and then put the texture on it. I actually did several of them, but where is it? So there, that's what it looked like after the texture was on there. I went online and got carbon fiber texture, and like I showed you last week with the mesh, a lot of times what you can get online is nowhere near a large enough sample, so you have to construct a larger sample by blending the first little piece, and then you cut and paste and make it fit exactly with the other one, cut and paste. And you have to watch out because a lot of times the value isn't even across the sample that you got online, and it's darker on one side than the other. You have to make adjustments for that. Okay? So I want to go for images, carbon fiber. And by the way, this is not, this demo is not on D2L.
Good thing we have this.
Good thing you have what?
Yeah,
good thing you have Vince. Okay, so there's a lot of carbon fiber pieces for me to capture. I want to look for one that has even shading across. Like if you look at this one right here, it's clearly not even shading. It's darker here and lighter here. This is drastically lighter here and darker here, so that's going to make it harder to work with. This one's not a very big sample, but I'm going to copy that. Open a new Photoshop document, US paper, paste, really small, but we're out of time. I'm going to work with this anyway. So I pasted another one down. I'm going to see if I can get this to line up with the first one. Actually, looks like I got lucky. Oh my God, did I get lucky? You guys might not have that.
Did you get lucky on that one?
I got, whoops. Oh no, I moved it.
Control Z, Control Z.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. Which one is the original? Not bad.
Hey.
Okay, so one thing we haven't talked about, when you're moving stuff in fine increments, sometimes it's easier to do with the arrow keys. That's easier to control. Okay, so I'm gonna put these all in the same layer. I'm gonna merge down. I forgot the control key for that. I used to use that a lot. Control E. I'm going to merge down. Now I'm going to copy that. Okay, I'm going to select it. I should be able to copy that whole thing. So I'm selecting it in order to copy it. That should do it. Okay, so I'm building a big enough piece that I've got something to work with. And you need to be very careful how you do this, because if you don't have a good joint, it really shows up. So the lighting isn't exactly right on this, top to bottom. So the lighting, hey you guys, what are you talking about? Grades or what?
You flip it over and make it all light blue.
No, I don't want to do that because I'm going to make another one. I've got to keep going.
So
Hey guys, I'm the boss, I'm talking. No. Okay, so this second one here is lighter on the top than the bottom of the first one is. So there's various things you can do. I'm gonna try burning that a little bit first to see if I can get that to blend better. That helped. It's not perfect, but it's, oh, that's the wrong layer.
Since you're gonna be using it, like in such a tiny setting, I guess, can you even tell?
It's not the tiny setting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Okay.
Okay, so now I've got two patches. I'm going to merge those together, Control E. Now that should be one layer. Now I want to copy that. So I can just keep building this to get a big enough piece to work with. Control C, Control V. One more. So the problem with this carbon fiber that I selected is that it isn't very high contrast between the lights and the darks, which is going to make it harder to see when I put it on something. Okay, so I've got a pretty big sample now.
Could you use contrast or adjustment, contrast and brightness to fix that, or?
I probably could, yeah. And I would really like to do that, but I'm running out of time. I need to show you. Yeah, the contrast is really not good enough on this, but so I'm going to take this sample and take it back to this draw. Oops. Open the line drawing. Now I put the sample over the backpack. Oh, I can't see my backpack anymore. What do I do? Change the opacity so that I can still see the pattern, but I can see the backpack underneath. Araya.
Yes.
Araya. No, you're not.
He's on to you.
I mean, I appreciate that you said that, but I don't really believe it. Okay, so I'm going to go over here now, and this is a wonderful tool that came out in CS4. If you have older than CS4, you're not going to have warp. Because with warp, you can so I need to up the opacity on this a little bit. I can't see it well enough. You see what it's doing to that pattern? So I need to make this pattern look like it's flaring out at the bottom. And I need to make it bend around right here. I'm going to enter that for now. It's not on there yet. It's not shaped at all properly. It's not in perspective. But I need to put a little bit of shading on here so that you can see why I want to warp it the way I'm going to warp it. I'm going to put a little bit of a roll. Oh, that's white. What happened? indicate there's a little bit of a shoulder here. Real fast, because we want to make the challenge a little bit more difficult to, you know what, I don't know what you're seeing there. So the carbon fiber has to curve around this shoulder that I just put on, and then like I said, it has to flare out at the bottom here. So I'm going to turn on that carbon fiber layer again. And I'm going to trim some of it because I have more carbon fiber than I need. Select inverse, delete. Where's delete on this keyboard? Oh, this keyboard is a mystery. Can't find delete.
Is it the AC?
Oh, there it is. Put it in delete. So
You
the
might
wrong
be
layer.
the wrong,
Okay, so now I'm going to try warp again, and I'm going to try to warp it to fit that shape that I just indicated with the shape gradation. Edit, transform, warp. I actually use this tool a lot. So there's other transform tools like perspective that you might be able to use on some of this, but I want let me just show you perspective so that you learn some of these other tools. Edit, transform, perspective. Perspective gives you less handles, but they do specific things. Where do they go? So if I move this handle up, see how it's changing that carbon fiber into perspective, and it's moving both sides at the same time. So that might be a good one to use in the beginning of this. And then another one I want to show you that's difficult to play with, but sometimes you need to use it. You might need to use it right here. It's called liquefy. And that's a filter, actually. I hardly ever use liquefy. Right there. But liquefy allows you to use a brush to push certain parts of it. You see how that has been? Let me see if I can zoom in on that so you can see what's going on. Whoops. You see how that's been pushed? So you can, with a brush, let's reconstruct. You can push those pixels around in very specific ways by hand to get that carbon fiber to go where you want it to go. I don't use it very much. It's a little bit hard to manage. I use warp a lot. I use perspective a fair amount, but warp I use a lot. So we're already at 9:47, so I'm just going to trim this, and it's nowhere near done, but what I want you to do is find a product that needs to have a texture on it, sketch it, find a texture to put on it, and put it on.
We have the freedom to choose.
Yeah.
So we want
One product.
Put a texture in?
that has a texture?
Wait, find.
No.
Or that needs a texture?
Carry out.
Find the shoe.
Find the apply it.
shoe would be a good one. That doesn't show it up very well at all, so I don't know if that's gonna show up on your video.
It does a little bit when I zoom in.
It's sure not showing up.
Oh yeah, we saw it.
So, I'm gonna go ahead and load. May I have your attention, please, again? I'm gonna go ahead and load the examples that I do have onto D2L. I'm gonna create a new folder called textures, so you can go ahead and reference those. But I want you to sketch something that needs a texture, shade it, and texture it.
8.5 by 11.
Yeah, and print it out.
No color? The shape?
You can have color if you want. What?
Just the number.
So, if you do a shoe, you know, put the shape in here with shading, and then drape the texture over it. You know? And you're gonna find this is not as easy as it looks. To get that texture to go where you want it to go. You might want to try something simpler in a shoe. A shoe has lots and lots of complex forms. You might want to try something simpler for your first time than a shoe. It's kind of making a moray there, that's better. Some degrees of zoom make a moray pattern, some don't.
Makes me dizzy to look at.